Hey everyone, it's Strange Michael. I hope you're doing well today. I have a review here for a movie that came out last year in 2023. I had no excitement for it. I had no plan to watch it. And let me tell you, it was one that I saw people like Critical Drinker talking about. He even interviewed Russell Crowe for the movie. And that surprised me a lot. So I went ahead and decided to give it a chance because I love Russell Crowe. I think he's a great actor. When he has the right movie, he can be incredible. Unhinged is one of his best performances of all time. I love Gladiator. Big fan of the guy. And he's kind of not on the map anymore. He kind of does a movie like every few years, and this is the one from last year, 2023, that I really wanted to see. It's directed by the guy who did Samaritan, the Sylvester Stallone superhero movie for Amazon, and Overlord, the World War II zombies film, the Nazi zombies movie, as I've heard it called. Haven't seen Overlord, I don't know if it's any good, but Samaritan I did watch, and it was okay. It had some good things in it, I guess. But anyway, this one's about an hour and 45 minutes long. It's called The Pope's Exorcist. And again, I had no excitement for this. I was hoping that maybe it would do what I always hope with possession, horror, ghost, haunted house movies. Do something new. And I was surprised by this movie. It's not a great movie. I can barely call it a good movie. But it was watchable. It was genuinely fun to watch. In a modern day setting, I was surprised by how decent this was, how engaging it was most of the time. For an hour and 45 minutes, the pacing was perfect. It never felt too long. It never felt so drawn out like a lot of these possession exorcism movies can feel. I wish it didn't have the title it has because it's fucking horrible. The Pope's Exorcist sounds like the worst title ever. And that's a great example of a bad title for a pretty solid, engaging, fun movie. And yeah, I said fun. Fun. It was kind of surprising to me how much fun I had watching this a couple of weeks ago. So where do I even start with this? I guess I'll jump into the story. This is based on a true story about a real-life exorcist who was like the chief exorton, if you will. I'm not Catholic. I'm a Christian, so like I just kind of watch this stuff as an observer, just so you know. It's interesting to me to see these traditions, I guess, that Russell Crowe has to go through, but he also is a priest who curses. Like, he uses foul language, just like you and I, and that's pretty fun. But he's not, like, dedicated in that respect, but he is a very faithful to God man, which was interesting. I wasn't expecting the film to do that. I thought it would definitely be a disrespectful film to the Bible, to God, to Christianity, whatever. I thought it would be like that. I thought it would be more insulting to Catholicism, and it kind of has a moment of that, but not really. Again, I don't really care. I'm not Catholic, but my whole thing is, this movie had such a great performance from Russell Crowe leading this kind of movie, which I didn't expect, about a family who lost the father in the family and the mom, their, I guess the oldest kid who's a daughter, and then the youngest son who is just kind of there. They move into a new house over in like Italy, I think is what it was, because they've lost everything. They had to sell their house in America to move to this place. It's a humongous mansion and estate that they want to sell off now that the dad has passed away. But they have to do renovations there, and they have to be there to do those renovations. And they start to notice some weird things about the house. The house may be haunted some very interesting way, and I do like the spin on that they do for this movie. It's not your typical possession horror movie. It's not your typical exorcism movie either. It has moments of that. It's not as something as amazing and classic as like The Exorcist or The Exorcist 3. It's nothing like that. But it's very clever for what they're going for, and I really like it. It's got a good, again, pace. It's got a good atmosphere to it. Not so much a creepy atmosphere, but a fun atmosphere. This feels like a horror blockbuster that's not like that movie Priest based on the comic book, but like something fun that's kind of lower budget than an Iron Man movie or something. And I like that about it. I think it has... there's something about it that interested me. The older daughter's into like punk music and stuff. She has a great soundtrack that plays in here. By the way, the film takes place during the 80s, which I thought that was pretty cool. And Russell Crowe, eventually the Catholic Church find out about this house and all the things that are happening and about the young son who apparently gets possessed by some kind of demonic entity of some sort. He begins to talk in a voice that is not his own, and he demands that they bring a priest to him, or bring the priest to him, referring to the chief priest, chief exorcist, the Pope's direct conversationalist exorcist, which is Russell Crowe. Russell Crowe goes to this house to investigate and try to eventually begin an exorcism that his methods are very different from most people in the Catholic Church. And the councils and stuff don't really respect him as much about his methodology. I really enjoyed this for what it was. Again, it's not a great movie. Let me make that very clear. The only reason I'm reviewing this is because, number one, it surprised me. Number two, a lot of people were talking about this when it came out. Not like big YouTube channels and stuff, but I would see it floating around a lot about people like myself being surprised by it. So I think it's worth discussing just briefly. This video probably won't get many views, but that's not a big point to me. Who cares? But I thought this would be cool just to recommend it to the right person, especially if you're like me and you just fucking hate possession and exorcism movies. They're just the same thing all the time, over and over again. I get really annoyed with that. And even the ones people try to defend, like Deliver Us from Evil, fuck that piece of shit-ass movie. This movie had a cast that I had never seen aside from Russell Crowe. It had sets that I didn't expect to see in a movie like this. It clearly had a nice, solid budget, and it clearly wanted to make this into some kind of franchise that it won't become, more than likely. But I'm kind of bummed out about that, but I also don't think it needs to be some kind of franchise. Russell Crowe, again, was really good here. I really liked him. He brought some humor and levity to the film because he claims that the devil and demons don't like jokes. I thought that was kind of funny. I thought that was kind of nice. He's very quaint and, again, very charming and endearing. You can't help but love him here. I really dug this. It shouldn't have been something that was as good as it is. And that I really mean that. I wasn't walking into this expecting that. I didn't have to rent it. I think it showed up on Prime or Netflix or something, free to watch, free, but you know what I mean. And I watched it and I had a good time. I'm not going to lie to you. I had a good time and I do recommend it to the right person. If it sounds like your kind of film, and if you happen to be a part of that camp of either side that loves exorcism, possession movies, or people like me that usually get annoyed with most of them, both audiences, I think both of you, could really, really dig this for what it is. It has a lot to offer, man. And again, a good soundtrack that has a very 80s drama-rama throwback, you know? Anyway, that's pretty much all I have to say about this movie. Aside from the last little tidbit I'd like to bring up, there is a surprising amount of CGI in the film, but it's not bad looking, really at all. And the directions that the third act kind of go surprised me with this movie. I was genuinely kind of shocked by the direction they were going. It was kind of cool, kind of historical fiction in its own way, and I really think that people would dig that. It's a whole new direction I've never seen in exorcism movies, and I think it really worked surprisingly enough. I don't want something to be changed or to be different just for the sake of being different, but this was cool. I liked it. It was cool, and it was fun to watch. So anyway, would I buy this for my collection? Probably not. Would I watch it again in the future? Yeah. Like 5 years down the road, if I was just bored and I had nothing else I wanted to do for the day, I wanted an exorcism film, I'd probably watch this again. I think it's a fairly rewatchable movie for the jokes and humor in it, but it's not a horror comedy. Don't think that. Anyway, if I had to rate The Pope's Exorcist on a 5-star basis, I'd probably give it a pretty solid, pretty high 3 out of 5 stars, to be honest with you. I do recommend it if you haven't seen it. I won't add this to my hidden horror segment on my channel because I don't think it's really what I like to talk about on there, but this is surprising, to say the least, as I've said. Well-written movie, too. Well acted, well performed. I liked everybody in the film. So anyway, have you seen it? What do you think about it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and comments on the movie and my review down in the comment section down below. And again, a high 3 out of 5 stars for The Pope's Exorcist. Thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all, and goodbye.